By the 1980s, Vigilance, who adopted the name Baba Vanga, had given thousands of accurate predictions and gained a reputation as the Nostradamus of the Balkans.
Baba Vanga, a renowned figure famous for her alleged clairvoyant abilities, has captivated the world with her striking predictions about the future. She claimed that her gift of foresight began at the age of 12, following a life-altering incident where she lost her sight in a powerful tornado. Despite her death in 1996, her prophecies continue to intrigue and resonate with her followers, who eagerly anticipate the unfolding of her predictions, especially those said to concern significant global events in 2025. Could there really be a major political comeback on the horizon, one that would shake up the U.S. presidency? And what about her warning of a significant conflict that might change everything? Stick around, because we're about to unpack some of Baba Vanga's most talked about predictions for the near future. And trust me, you won't want to miss this. Let's get started.
We are Jesus' eternal aura. In today's video, you will have appropriate answers to all the questions above. Before you know what happened, subscribe to the channel, like this video.
For centuries, seers and prophets have come forward, offering dramatic visions of mankind's destiny. But what happens when the predictions turn deadly?
The legendary Bulgarian mystic is well known for her prophecies involving major global events such as World War II, the Chernobyl disaster, and the fall of the Soviet Union. Among her many foretellings, Baba Vanga also predicted danger for two towering global figures, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. In recent times, her visions regarding Trump have drawn increased attention, as some eerie parallels seem to align with his life events. Potential dangers to President Trump. Baba Vanga prophesied that Donald Trump would be struck by a mysterious illness, one that would leave him deaf and even afflicted by a brain tumor. While these exact conditions haven't manifested, a recent near-assassination attempt appears to mirror the danger she predicted. In Pennsylvania, this past July, Trump collapsed suddenly while on stage, prompting Secret Service agents to rush in and surround him. The tension in the air was palpable as he was helped to his feet and escorted off stage. But in a moment that has since become iconic in American political history, Trump defiantly raised his fist and shouted, "Fight, fight, fight," capturing the spirit of his supporters and underlining his resilient nature. Trump's journey back to power, if fulfilled, would not just influence domestic policies, but would also leave a profound impact globally. 4 years after leaving the White House amid controversy over his efforts to overturn the 2020 election, Trump has faced and overcome many obstacles that would have overwhelmed most political figures. 2 impeachment trials, a criminal conviction, numerous legal charges, and even 2 assassination attempts have all tested his resolve. Yet, in his view, surviving these trials and returning to the political arena was all part of a higher plan. Trump himself has claimed that God saved him for a new mission for America, reinvigorating his supporters and positioning him once again as a force in U.S. politics. However, even as Trump seeks to reclaim the presidency, it's clear that the road ahead is fraught with challenges. Baba Vanga's predictions may serve as a chilling reminder that the journey for Trump is far from over, with many more dangerous trials still possibly lying ahead. It seems the call to fight may not just be a symbol of his defiance, but also a foreshadowing of the battles yet to come. The upcoming war. Former U.S. President Donald Trump is known for his bold, unpredictable approach to international politics, and according to many commentators, his re-election could mean strained relations for the United States with other nations once again. Trump has always maintained complicated relationships with several global powers, and his rhetoric often stoked tensions, particularly during trade disputes and other diplomatic standoffs. Baba Vanga's prediction for 2025 coincides with these concerns. She foresaw a conflict erupting on mainland Europe, a conflict that could have worldwide ramifications. This prophecy suggests that tensions might escalate into a broader confrontation, pulling in major powers and impacting the entire global order. Though the exact nations are not named, the fear of political alliances collapsing or tensions leading to open conflict cannot be overlooked. If Trump indeed returns to power, his policies could be the catalyst for such an event, as he has expressed an intention to escalate what he perceives as economic and geopolitical threats. Another prophecy that aligns with current fears is the prospect of a global economic crisis. Baba Vanga predicted a significant financial downturn around 2025, which would be accompanied by high tensions between world powers. Given Trump's historical stance on international trade marked by his America First policy and the trade wars he launched, it's not surprising that many believe his return could contribute to economic instability. Economic warfare has always been an indirect means of achieving political aims without resorting to open conflict. Trump's trade policies could lead to a high-stakes economic gamble, with tariffs and sanctions being used to try to revive American manufacturing industries. While Trump's approach is aimed at rejuvenating America's economic power, it risks creating more significant divisions between the U.S. and other global economies, potentially causing a downturn that impacts not only America, but other countries as well. Vanga also foresaw the return of communism, with a global resurgence expected by 2076. This is intriguing in the context of rising political divisions. If economic inequalities and hardships increase significantly, the political landscape could indeed shift toward alternative ideologies, including socialism or communism, as people seek security amidst chaos. Reports and predictions from other contemporary sources echo Baba Vanga's vision of a global economic crisis in 2025. In a paper published by the Hitachi Research Institute in May 2022, researchers warned of ongoing economic uncertainty, forecasting potential stagflation, where inflation persists alongside economic stagnation and recession. Stagflation has historical precedents, such as the second oil shock in the 1970s and the late 2000s financial crisis. In each case, the global economy eventually recovered, but only after experiencing significant economic pain. The Hitachi report highlights several potential threats, including prolonged inflation, continued interest rate hikes in major economies, social unrest due to economic disparities, and the complete division between Russia and Western economies. If these issues worsen, they could lead to a compound crisis, resulting in a severe economic downturn, echoing Baba Vanga's ominous warnings. Social factors also play a significant role, with the possibility of a new pandemic further complicating global recovery. Pandemics bring additional challenges, such as supply chain disruptions and increased pressure on public health systems, all of which could exacerbate the economic challenges. Another vivid prophecy comes from a more recent visionary account describing a catastrophic economic collapse set to unfold in early 2025. The vision presented a dam filled with thick, sludge-like substances containing barrels labeled with words like finance collapse and bank structure meltdown. The dam symbolized a financial structure holding back an immense amount of instability, waiting to burst. The dam's collapse in the vision represented a sudden release of pent-up economic issues causing widespread devastation. Barrels labeled with terms like dollar crash spilled out as the dam broke, flooding American soil and unleashing chaos. The visionary also saw food lines stretching down streets, an indication of the rapid and severe impact this economic meltdown would have on everyday people. The implications of this vision align eerily with Vanga's prediction of economic crisis. The collapse of key financial structures and a subsequent devaluation of the dollar could lead to a deep recession, with millions of people losing their livelihoods. In the vision, the sudden onset of economic turmoil left people unprepared, as if caught in winter storms while dressed in summer clothes. The metaphor suggested a stripping away of prosperity, leaving a stark, bare reality. The oak tree symbolizing America still stood, but it had been stripped of its wealth and vibrancy. Not all predictions are entirely bleak. Baba Vanga's prophecies and the Hitachi Research Institute both suggest that, while the road ahead is fraught with difficulties, there may also be opportunities for positive transformation. Hitachi's analysis mentions that some of the crises predicted for 2025, such as rising resource prices and a new pandemic, could accelerate the growth of new sectors and investments, such as digital transformation, DX, and green energy initiatives, GX. The expansion of these sectors could help restructure economic systems and address some of the root causes of inequality and instability. By investing in green technologies and digital infrastructure, the world economy could potentially shift from a gloomy outlook to one of renewed hope by the end of 2025. The hope is that innovation and reform will not only avert catastrophe, but also pave the way for a more resilient and sustainable global economy. Should Donald Trump return to the White House, his legacy might be marked by his ambition to increase America's economic independence by escalating trade wars. His plan to bring back America's industrial might, a vision of an undefined period in history when American manufacturing was dominant, comes with significant risks. Erecting economic barriers around the country's manufacturing base might isolate the U.S. from valuable global partnerships, increasing production costs and reducing competitiveness. Trump's great gamble on economic isolationism might temporarily benefit certain domestic industries but would likely lead to retaliatory measures from other countries, further straining relationships with major economies. The uncertainty of Trump's economic policies, paired with Baba Vanga's ominous forecasts of conflict and financial collapse, paints a concerning picture for America's future on the global stage. The vision of 4 years of hardship suggested that these would not be mere 4 seasons, but rather 4 full years of economic struggle. People initially faced significant challenges, and by the second and third years, they had adapted to a new way of life. However, they still appeared weary, with dirty faces and worn clothing reminiscent of the imagery of the Great Depression era. By the 4th year, though, there were signs of recovery. In another vision, President Trump was seen attempting to reconstruct a broken airplane that symbolized America. The parts of the plane, such as the wing, cockpit, tail, and wheels, were scattered, and Trump could not fully restore it to its original form. Instead, he salvaged what he could, piecing together a new type of aircraft that could fly but would never be as powerful or impressive as it once was. The airplane, marked with USA in black letters and appearing as if made from silver aluminum, symbolized America's partial recovery. It served as a warning. Although the plane could fly again, the nation would not return to its former state of glory. After the collapse of the dam and the crash of the dollar, people were left standing in long food lines. The hardship in the vision was a stark reminder of President Trump praying in the Oval Office, which was described as lasting for months. The belief was that this economic downturn could last for 4 years, symbolized by 4 oak trees, each one representing a challenging year. It was emphasized that the whole of America should come together in prayer for peace across all states and for the sake of its citizens. The prophecy of Nostradamus could potentially come true, and everyone should pay attention and be prepared for what is to come. Americans must unite in faith and prayer. It is believed that prayer to the Lord could change the course of prophecy. While apocalyptic predictions are anticipated to begin around 2025, humanity will not be completely eradicated until 5079, as mentioned in Baba Vanga's timeline of predictions. Baba Vanga went on to state that a conflict in Europe would devastate the continent's population by 2025. This prophecy is worrying to many, especially given the ongoing geopolitical tensions and conflicts. According to Vanga, the timeline to the end of humanity begins in 2025, with an unspecified conflict in Europe devastating the population. In 2028, humanity will require more energy and supposedly will manage to explore Venus to find new energy sources. This part of the timeline might sound unbelievable given that Venus is essentially an inhospitable hellscape with an extremely acidic atmosphere. No space probe has survived there for more than a few hours. By 2033, climate change becomes a major concern, and Baba Vanga predicted that at this point, the polar ice caps would melt and sea levels would rise drastically worldwide. There's a certain dark humor to the situation, reminiscent of an old episode of The Simpsons*, where Russia flips a switch and the Soviet Union reforms instantly, complete with the Berlin Wall shooting back up and a zombie Vladimir Lenin emerging to crush capitalism. While it might not happen quite like that, Baba Vanga's alleged prediction claims that by 2076, communism will not only be back, but will take over the entire world. Skipping ahead to the next century, Vanga supposedly predicted that by 2130, humanity will make contact with aliens, though understandably what happens from there is anyone's guess. Climate change worsens in 2170, leading to a severe global drought. By 2250, there is a mention of a new civilization on Mars, possibly as a result of human colonization or alien interaction, and by 3797, the Earth will supposedly no longer be able to support life. Humans are said to leave Earth at this point and move on to parts unknown. The end of humanity, or the grand finale, is predicted for 5079, though little detail is provided about this final event. We don't know if the world will end with a great epic battle, an anticlimactic incident, or just fade into nothingness. It's important to note that many of these predictions sound implausible and exaggerated. Baba Vanga was indeed a real person who amassed a following and legend around her. But since no official record of her predictions exists, it's unclear whether any of the predictions attributed to her today are genuine. Even if they were real, there is no guarantee of their accuracy. Nevertheless, these predictions serve as a reminder of an important concept. While there are countless prophecies and predictions about the end of the world, religious texts such as the Bible assert that no one knows the day or hour of such an event except God. The prophecy of Baba Vanga also brings to mind a Bible verse. When you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places and famines. These are the beginning of birth pains. In these uncertain times, doubtless, people may start to use such disasters as signs that the end is near. Signs of living in the last days are a common theme, particularly in religious texts and discussions of eschatology. In the New Testament, it is clear that the last days actually began with Christ's first coming, meaning that believers are now living in what could be considered the last days of the last days. Wars and rumors of wars are often cited as signs of the end, but God's people are encouraged not to be alarmed. The end is still to come, and earthquakes and famines are just the beginning of birth pangs. These events, much like labor pains that signal the imminent birth of a baby, remind believers that Christ will return, ending human history as we know it. Just as labor pains can be unreliable, sometimes coming months or weeks before the actual due date, these earthly disasters serve as reminders that we are drawing closer to that climactic day. However, the passing of time itself is also a reminder that we are inevitably moving toward that day. Baba Vanga also made an interesting prediction regarding Earth's path around the Sun. She suggested that in 2025, Earth could encounter a different orbital path around the Sun, potentially leading to dramatic effects on our lives. This prediction raises intriguing questions. As such, a shift could indeed have far-reaching consequences, according to Mark 13:32-33. But about that day or hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. Be on guard, be alert. You do not know when that time will come. This verse speaks to the truth that nobody knows when the second coming of Christ will happen, despite numerous attempts throughout history to predict it. Many have tried to foresee when Jesus will return, but it remains an event beyond human prediction. The second coming of Christ is often confused with the rapture of the church, though these two events are distinct within the scope of Christian eschatology. The rapture will occur before the second coming of Christ, with the latter taking place only after the 7-year tribulation. These future events, their timing, and the specific circumstances that will accompany them remain unpredictable. The rapture is expected to serve as the catalyst for the remaining events of eschatology, as believers will be taken up to be with the Lord prior to the tribulation period. Following this tribulation, the second coming of Christ will occur, during which he will return to fight in the Battle of Armageddon. Revelation 19:11-16 describes this battle, in which the Lord will defeat the Antichrist and the false prophet, ultimately triumphing over evil and destroying those who oppose him. The second coming of Christ will be markedly different from his first. Whereas the first coming was marked by humility and sacrifice, the second coming will bring with it the full fruition of the promises of salvation. After the end of the 7-year tribulation, Jesus will reign as king for 1,000 years before establishing a new heaven and a new earth. This new creation will be exactly as God first intended when he created the Garden of Eden, free of death, pain, and sadness, and filled only with happiness, joy, and life. The second coming is a major event in the eschatological timeline, and one that all believers should anticipate eagerly. For those who already believe, there is confidence in the knowledge that they will return with Christ to fight in the Battle of Armageddon. Believers who have died or were taken up during the rapture will return with him to fight, knowing that even if the prospect seems frightening, they can trust in the Lord and his plans. On another note, Earth's journey around the Sun takes it across a staggering 584 million miles each year. This journey occurs along an epic elliptical path shaped like an oval rather than a perfect circle. The exact shape of Earth's orbit is influenced by the gravitational forces of other planets, causing changes that happen in a cyclical manner. Though these changes may seem minor, even subtle alterations in Earth's orbit can have severe implications for the planet. Such shifts could lead to drastic changes such as increased radiation levels or soaring temperatures. Baba Vanga's prediction of an orbital shift could imply an external event such as an asteroid impact, potentially triggering catastrophic consequences. It is natural to wonder whether such an event could be a sign of the end. In the face of all these potential threats, we are reminded that earthly disasters, wars, rumors of wars, and other unsettling events are not necessarily signs that the end is imminent. The Bible tells us that these occurrences are the beginnings of birth pangs. indicating that something transformative is coming, but not necessarily pinpointing an exact timeline. Labor pains are often unpredictable, and they serve as a reminder that change is on the horizon, but not necessarily at a moment we can foresee. For believers, these prophecies and predictions are a call to faith, prayer, and vigilance. Baba Vanga's predictions are undeniably thought-provoking, especially when they align with modern anxieties about war, climate change, and cosmic disturbances. However, it is important to approach such prophecies with both curiosity and caution. Throughout history, many people have claimed to predict the future, but the ultimate truth remains in the hands of God. The key takeaway is not to fear, but to stay prepared, stay faithful, and trust in the divine plan that has been laid out for all of humanity. Whatever happens, believers can take solace in their faith, knowing that they will have a part in the unfolding of God's ultimate vision for the world, one that promises an end to suffering and the beginning of a new, eternal life. Surely you all have a question that is, can people really see the future? It is difficult to answer this question accurately, but throughout human history there have been many outstanding individuals who were able to foresee part of humanity's future. Prophecies always make people panic today. We're going to explore this year's prophecies from two of the most renowned prophets, Nostradamus and Baba Vanga. These prominent seers have foretold catastrophic scenarios for 2024, ranging from wars and natural disasters to economic crises that are said to unfold. A scary scenario awaits us in 2024. What prophecies have been fulfilled and will be fulfilled? Join us in this video when we reveal all the terrifying truths about what Nostradamus and Baba Vanga have predicted.
We are Jesus' eternal aura. In today's video, you will have appropriate answers to all the questions above. Before you know what happened, subscribe to the channel, like this video.
Baba Vanga predictions. Her real name is Vangelia Pandeva Gushtarova. She passed away in 1996 at 84 years old and supposedly predicted events that shocked the world and even predicted her death. Originally from Bulgaria, the clairvoyant believed she gained her powers during a terrible storm, which led to her losing her sight at age 12. Since then, Baba has made predictions about a range of historic events. Baba Vanga is the name that terrifies humanity because of her prophecies. People worldwide are still interested and confused by these mysterious predictions, which cover a wide range of global events and phenomena. The blind psychic passed away in 1996, but left behind various predictions that have come true in the years following her death. For 2024, Baba Vanga has some predictions in store, with some equally as terrifying as those of the past. First, she claimed the world would face an economic crisis this year, and now the UK and Japan are grappling with just that. The Office of National Statistics confirmed that GDP fell by a larger than expected 0.3% in the 3 months to December in the UK. This is a result of a decline in all main sectors of the economy and collapses in retail sales in Japan. The yen is currently at an all-time 34-year low, weakening to 51.97 against the US dollar. The country has now moved down to fourth position in global standings, being overtaken by Germany in third. Baba Vanga's forecast of a major economic crisis impacting the global economy in 2024 raises concerns about the interconnectedness of geopolitical events and financial stability. Then predictions of political upheavals and dangers are not limited to one area, indicating Vanga's vision of global tension talked about Putin in danger and European trials of the political upheavals as a result of the Russia and Ukraine war. Baba Vanga has predicted the assassination of Russian President Vladimir Putin, this prediction gains particular significance following a recent tragic event in Moscow that has shocked the world. The recent terrorist attack in Moscow, which claimed the lives of 133 individuals and left many more wounded, has sent shockwaves across Russia and beyond. President Putin addressed the nation acknowledging the severity of the attack and vowing to pursue those responsible for organizing the attack, which occurred across City Hall during a rock concert. Marked one of the deadliest terrorist incidents in Moscow in over 2 decades, the tragedy has reignited concerns about security and terrorism in the region, prompting heightened vigilance and security measures while authorities have detained suspects linked to the attack, including individuals with alleged ties to extremist groups. Questions linger about the motives and origins of the speculation, and conspiracy theories have emerged, with some suggesting possible connections to larger geopolitical tensions and conflicts against this backdrop. Baba Vanga's prediction about a rise in terrorist attacks in Europe takes on added significance. Her mention of a big country conducting biological weapons tests or attacks adds another layer of complexity to the ongoing discussions about global security. Baba Vanga warned of increased terrorist activities in Europe and hinted at the possibility of a major country engaging in biological weapons testing or launching attacks presently. The Israel-Hamas conflict and Russia's invasion of Ukraine remain prominent issues because the balance of international power has changed in China. Rising as many people think, or is Russia declining rapidly, might be China's development cannot make up for Russia's decline, so the power to bounce the West is gradually becoming weaker. There are more and more democratic countries, and their power is getting stronger, such as Eastern Europe and India. NATO is gradually expanding eastward and has a pattern of encircling. China is also taking shape. Many territorial disputes between Russia and China are being unearthed from history. Russia's rule over Tatars, Cheta, and many other ethnic states in the southwest, and China's rule over East Turkestan, Tibet, Southern Mongolia, and Hong Kong are becoming less and less recognized by the world. The aftermath of the Moscow attack could potentially exacerbate existing economic challenges, leading to further uncertainty and volatility. Cyber attacks may be among the most impressive of Baba Vanga's predictions, since the internet was still in its very early stages when she passed away in 1996. The mystic predicted hackers would increase their attacks, especially against vital infrastructure, thus possibly creating security dangers worldwide. Most recently, the telecommunications giant AT&T recently announced a data set found on the dark web containing information including some social security numbers and passcodes for about 7.6 million current and 65.4 million former account holders. Whether the data originated from AT&T or one of its vendors is still unknown. The Dallas-based company noted, adding that it had launched an investigation into the incident. AT&T has also begun notifying customers whose personal information was compromised. Apple, Meta, and has all disclosed cybersecurity attacks over the past 12 months, and with the explosive development of technology, cyber attacks will continue for a long time. The psychic's other prediction was that we would have drastic developments in healthcare. The mystic predicted that new cures for diseases like Alzheimer's and cancer will be invented this year. It sounds unbelievable, but nothing is impossible with the rapid development of world medicine. President Vladimir Putin recently said that Russian scientists are close to creating a vaccine for cancer that could soon be available to patients. He said, "We have reached a significant milestone in the development of cancer vaccines and next-generation immunomodulatory drugs. I hope that soon they will be effectively used as methods of individual therapy." However, he did not specify the types of cancer the proposed vaccines would target. Furthermore, recent developments have confirmed progress in the development of a lung cancer vaccine. The United Kingdom has allocated funding for 2 years of laboratory research and initial manufacturing of 3,000 doses for a DNA-based lung cancer vaccine as stated. In a press release from the University of Oxford, located in Oxford, England, it cannot be denied that the world will have a positive outlook for cancer patients, and we can fully expect that a miracle will happen in 2024. The prophetess had also foretold that there would be severe weather events and natural disasters this year. Global heat waves are happening 67% more often. According to a study in Science Advances, the study found the highest temperatures in the heat waves are warmer than 40 years ago, and the area under a heat dome is larger from 1979 to 1983. Global heat waves would last 8 days on average, but by 2016 to 2020, that was up to 12 days. The study said the World Meteorological Organization said there is a high probability that 2024 will be another record hot year. Nostradamus prediction. With the death of Queen Elizabeth, the Pope's abdication, the age of the Antichrist, the terrifying rise of AI, and nations becoming aggressive and bringing each other down. What is mentioned in the Bible almost once again suggests the accuracy of his predictions surprised the world. He is Nostradamus, the 16th century French astrologer. The lay prophet is said to be a secret book when recording Nostradamus's prophecies to this world. The more time passed, the more Nostradamus's prophecy was confirmed. Nostradamus was born in France in 153. He first worked as a physician and began his medical practice in the 1530s. Although he did so without a medical degree, he began making prophecies about 1547, and he published his prophecies in a book entitled Les Prophéties. He wrote his prophecies in quatrains, in 4 lines of rhyming verse. The quatrains were grouped in hundreds. Each set of 100 quatrains was called a century, also known as the Prophet of Doom, the 16th century. French philosopher is best known for his foreboding forecast this time. The Frenchman was credited with forecasting the powerful earthquake that rocked Japan on New Year's Day of 2024. Outlining his predictions for 2024, the oracle wrote, "The dry earth will become more parched, and there will be great floods." The psychic's followers reckoned that he could have been referring to the 7.5 magnitude tremor that struck the nation's western coast, killing 48 people, toppling buildings, and sparking 1 mm high tsunamis. According to reports, residents in coastal communities fled to higher ground as the waves battered the coast, sweeping houses and cars into the sea. Nostradamus' prediction was not the only harbinger of a seismic calamity. Over the summer, divers in Taiwan encountered an injured giant, or fish. The doomsday fish is said to be a sign of impending earthquakes. This superstition is based on Japanese mythology, which states that a plankton eater that lives below the ocean's surface will intentionally rise to the surface ahead of an incoming tremor. The legend is that if you see an oarfish doomsday fish, it is a warning sign from higher powers that disasters such as earthquakes are soon to occur. They reference the 2011 Fukushima earthquake and tsunami, which saw dozens of these alleged seagoing seismometers wash ashore in the 2 years. Preceding the catastrophe, psychic adherents also say that Nostradamus's dry earth prediction could be referring to the ongoing climate crisis, which has spawned an uptick in droughts and fires worldwide here. He mentioned climate catastrophe, climate chaos has already begun, with cases of wildfires, flooding, and drought increasing around the globe in recent years, especially in 2023. But what's interesting is how he seems to have foreseen these apocalyptic events. All those centuries ago, he predicts the dry earth will grow more parched, and there will be great floods when it is seen elsewhere. He warns of storms leading to starvation and very great famine through pestiferous waves. He wrote Nostradamus and continued his prediction by predicting the farewell of Pope Francis. According to Nostradamus, we could be facing a year that could mean the farewell to Pope Francis, who at 87 years of age in 2024 has already gone through several health problems. The Pope had to skip the UN Climate Conference because of lung inflammation and breathing problems. Through the death of a very old pontiff, a Roman of good age will be elected of him. It will be said that he weakens his see, but long will he sit, and in biting activity, Nostradamus wrote, while the arrival of a younger, vigorous pope sounds like a good thing. Nostradamus immediately goes on to say that the new leader will weaken his see and that he will be pope for a long time. The exact meaning of weaken is, of course, open to debate. Does he mean the influence of the church will somehow lessen, or is some greater scandal on the way? Well, only time will tell. However, it's essential to note that his writings, particularly in Lee, are written in a cryptic and metaphorical style that is open to various interpretations. Many of his quatrains are vague and can be applied to different events. The prophecy also predicted the confrontation between the U.S. and China. Joe Biden tried to thaw relations with China when he and Xi Jinping met in November 2023 to discuss Taiwan, fentanyl, and climate change. However, Nostradamus' predictions suggest it could have all been in vain in a verse that begins by describing combat and naval battle. He writes of how a red adversary will become pale with fear. Putting the great ocean in dread, the red adversary could refer to China given the color of their flag, and the references to naval conflict are eerie in light of the escalating discussion about the state of Taiwan, with the island located at the junction of the East and South China Seas. And this is certainly a conflict to avoid if China is the adversary in question, with Beijing boasting the largest navy on the planet. One of Nostradamus' predictions that shocked the world was related to the British royal family. It is known that there will be a king who will ascend the throne to succeed Charles, but it wasn't William, it was Harry. It's surprising, isn't it? You know, recent speculation has surfaced regarding a prediction made by a 16th century astrologer. Nostradamus suggesting a tumultuous future for Britain's King Charles in 2024 after his cancer diagnosis, which was discovered when he was undergoing treatment for an enlarged prostate. Royal observers speculated that King Charles might step down either voluntarily or due to pressure related to his health. The revelation of King Charles's cancer diagnosis has left many questions unanswered, with Buckingham Palace withholding details regarding the cancer type and stage. This lack of transparency has fueled both concern and speculation about the monarch's health and the potential implications for the British monarchy and his renown. Nostradamus seemingly forecasted the monarch's downfall, including potential abdication or forced removal. Nostradamus predicted the potential abdication of a king and the rise of an unexpected successor, which now seems to echo the current situation involving King Charles and Prince Harry. The ancient prophet said the King of the Isles would be driven out by force and would be replaced by one who will have no mark of a king before that. He accurately predicted Queen Elizabeth II's passing at around the age of 96, a prophecy that aligned with Buckingham Palace's announcement of King Charles III's diagnosis following his mother's demise in 2022. However, the question of how Prince Harry, who has shown little interest in royal duties, would end up as king remains unanswered. The royal family has faced its fair share of scandals in recent years. However, the one that garnered the most headlines and caused papers and tabloids across the world to go nuts was Prince Harry's exit from the royal family and the fallout thereafter. Despite his decision to pull back from his duties, many wonder if Prince Harry could still rule as king, as is his birthright. Otherwise known as birthright privilege, Prince Harry is fifth in line for the throne. In the instance of Charles's death, Prince William Charles's firstborn son is next in line for the throne. If something were to happen to William Harry, still wouldn't be next in line, as that would be William's firstborn Prince George, then Princess Charlotte, and finally Prince Louis. If William were to abdicate, which is highly unlikely, and George was still under 18, then it's a different question. The role of regent means a person who governs a kingdom. In the minority, absence or disability of the sovereign would then perhaps go to Harry until George was old enough to take on his royal duties. Nostradamus predicting Harry would become his successor seems unlikely, but we will never know what will happen after. It actually happens. Continue with a prediction about a huge famine brought on by a wave of pestilence. First, we talk about the famine if we put Nostradamus's prophecy next to what the Bible teaches. You will see the coincidence that they both mention femina back to the past. Israel occupied the rocky highlands of Canaan, the area of present-day Jerusalem and the hills to the north of it, rather than fertile coastal plains even in the best of years. It took enormous effort to coax sufficient sustenance out of the ground. The rainy seasons were brief. Any precipitation less than normal could be devastating across the ancient Near East drought, and famine were feared in the 13th century BC. Nearly all of the Eastern Mediterranean civilizations collapsed because of a prolonged drought in the book of Deuteronomy. God proclaims that if Israel obeys the laws, the Lord will open for you his bounteous store, the heavens, to provide rain for your land in season disobedience. However, will have the opposite effect. The skies above your head shall be copper, and the earth under you iron. The Lord will make the rain of your land. Dust and sand shall drop on you from the sky until you are wiped out to ancient Israelites. There was no such thing as nature as we understand it today, and no such thing as a chance if things were good. It was because God was happy if things were going badly. It was because the deity was angry about a national catastrophe like famine. The sin had to lie either with the entire people or with the monarchs who represented them, and it was the task of prophets and oracles to determine. The divine wrath famine was perceived as both retribution and opportunity, a punishment for transgressions, yet a chance for repentance and transformation. For instance, in the annals of Solomon's wisdom, during the inauguration of the temple in Jerusalem, he beseeches God for forgiveness, envisioning a future where famine-stricken Israel might turn to the newly sanctified temple for mercy. Similarly, recounted in the book of Samuel, Israel endures a 3-year famine during the reign of David, its greatest king. When David seeks the cause, he learns of the sins of his predecessor Saul, turning famine into both a consequence of disobedience and a catalyst for a more faithful future. The waves of pestilence, often associated with Nostradamus's prophecies, are believed by many to foretell calamitous events, such as deadly earthquakes. Exploring these verses, we encounter the admonition not to be alarmed by wars and rumors thereof, as they are but the beginning of birth pains. The New Testament parallels this sentiment, suggesting that these trials signify the onset of the last days. Yet, Revelation depicts even more cataclysmic earthquakes during the tribulation, challenging the interpretation of ordinary seismic activity as a harbinger of the end. Nostradamus's predictions, couched in metaphorical and cryptic language, have inspired interpretations ranging from the specific to the vague. Some assert their accuracy, citing instances like the death of Henry II or the rise of Napoleon. while others attribute their perceived fulfillment to the inherent ambiguity of the prophecies. Nonetheless, the debate persists, fueled by the enigmatic nature of Nostradamus's writings and the tendency of historical events to align, however loosely, with his predictions. Venturing back nearly a century, visionary minds of 1924 dared to envisage the world of 2024. From David Wark Griffith's hopeful vision of cinema fostering global understanding to Leo Hendrik Baekeland's dire warnings of futuristic weaponry's potential to annihilate humanity, these forecasts spanned a spectrum of optimism and apprehension. British politician Kingsley Wood anticipated significant advances in longevity, envisioning a future where living to 100 would be commonplace, and 75-year-olds deemed comparatively youthful. Meanwhile, Joseph Paul Day foresaw radical transformations in urban life, with dirigibles and airplanes revolutionizing daily commutes and bridging the gap between city centers and suburbs. In the realm of technology, Archibald Montgomery Lowe speculated on wireless communications potential, presaging capabilities akin to modern-day internet transactions and criminal identification systems. Similarly, Frank L. Ferraro envisioned a societal shift towards gender equality, anticipating women in positions of power and authority, even leading armies into battle. From the architectural foresight of Ben Boren, foreseeing multi-tiered roadways and subterranean freight systems, to the cultural predictions of Rufus Bernhard von Klein-Smid, describing a physically and spiritually vibrant girl of tomorrow, these prophetic voices collectively reflect the hopes, fears, and aspirations of their time. As we reflect on these past visions of the future, we are reminded of the inherent uncertainty in prognostication. While some forecasts may align with reality, others veer wide of the mark, serving as testament to the complexity of human progress and the unpredictable course of history. In the end, whether we find ourselves amidst the fulfillment of prophecy or in the midst of unforeseen developments, the passage of time remains the ultimate arbiter of truth. The prophecy regarding the death of a young leader who catalyzes the downfall of an old empire raises questions about its potential significance in current events, particularly in light of recent political upheavals. Moreover, Baba Vanga's warnings of political turmoil extend to the highest echelons of power, with predictions of dangers facing Russian President Vladimir Putin and potential trials in Europe. These forecasts underscore the volatility of global geopolitics and the precarious nature of leadership in the modern world. Amidst these political uncertainties, Baba Vanga also foresaw the looming threat of catastrophic consequences stemming from climate change, underscoring the urgent need for collective action to address environmental challenges. On the horizon of medical advancements, hope shines bright with the prospect of a cure for cancer, offering solace to millions grappling with this devastating disease. Additionally, the emergence of quantum computing promises a revolution in technology, ushering in a new era of innovation and progress. In parallel to Baba Vanga's predictions, the prophecies of Nostradamus for 2024 also paint a vivid picture of the future. Foreseeing Putin's leadership facing challenges in the year of the dragon and China's ascent to unprecedented prominence, Nostradamus' insights offer a complementary perspective on the unfolding events of the world. Baba Vanga's cryptic prophecies for 2024 delve into a realm of intrigue and uncertainty, offering glimpses into a future marked by scientific marvels and global transformations. Among these predictions, the concept of undisclosed printing of organs emerges as a tantalizing possibility, envisioning a world where 3D printers churn out organs alongside the morning newspaper, revolutionizing organ transplantation as we know it. Furthermore, the rise of artificial intelligence takes center stage, with Nostradamus foretelling a future where AI transcends its current capabilities to become integral to everyday life, from diagnosing diseases to brewing the perfect cup of coffee. This technological revolution promises both innovation and disruption, reshaping industries and societal norms alike. Another enigmatic prophecy revolves around a charismatic young leader rising in Western Europe, wielding narrative power akin to Shakespeare and influencing geopolitical landscapes. The ambiguity surrounding this prediction invites speculation about the individual's impact on the world stage and the direction of European politics. However, amidst the anticipation of scientific breakthroughs and technological advancements, Baba Vanga's warnings about impending natural disasters and political upheavals serve as sobering reminders of the fragility of human existence and the unpredictability of the future. From the prospect of messages from space to the ominous echoes of past tragedies, her prophecies offer a tapestry of possibilities that both captivate and unsettle the human imagination. As we navigate the complexities of the present and peer into the uncertain terrain of the future, the prophecies of Baba Vanga serve as a catalyst for contemplation and introspection. They prompt us to question our assumptions, reevaluate our priorities, and ponder the implications of our collective actions on the course of history. In the face of looming challenges and unforeseen possibilities, Baba Vanga's prophecies offer both cautionary tales and beacons of hope. They remind us of the profound interconnectedness of humanity and the natural world, urging us to tread carefully and cultivate a deeper sense of empathy and compassion for one another. At the heart of Baba Vanga's prophecies lies a profound truth. The future is not set in stone, but shaped by the choices we make in the present. While her predictions may tantalize and intrigue, they ultimately serve as a reminder of our agency and responsibility in shaping the world we inhabit. As we journey forward into the unknown, let us draw inspiration from the wisdom of the past, the insights of the present, and the possibilities of the future. And let us approach the mysteries of the future with humility, curiosity, and a sense of wonder, embracing the journey with open hearts and minds. In the end, whether Baba Vanga's prophecies come to fruition or fade into obscurity, their enduring legacy lies in the profound questions they provoke, in the profound truths they reveal about the human condition and the nature of existence itself. As we come to the end of this exploration into the prophecies of Baba Vanga and the enigmatic visions of Nostradamus, we are left with a tapestry of possibilities, a mosaic of potential futures that both intrigue and unsettle us. From the promise of scientific breakthroughs to the specter of global upheaval, these prophetic glimpses into the future offer a window into the complexities of the human experience and the ever-evolving landscape of our world. Yet, amidst the uncertainty and ambiguity, there is a profound truth that emerges. The future is not predetermined, but shaped by the collective actions and choices of individuals and societies. Each decision we make, each path we choose to follow, has the power to influence the course of history and shape the destiny of generations to come. In the face of daunting challenges and daunting uncertainties, it is easy to feel overwhelmed or disheartened. But let us not forget that within each challenge lies an opportunity for growth, for resilience, and for transformation. Let us harness the power of our collective imagination and creativity to forge a future that is just, equitable, and sustainable for all. As we bid farewell to the mysteries of prophecy and the allure of the unknown, let us carry with us a sense of wonder, a spirit of inquiry, and a commitment to shaping a future that reflects the best of humanity's aspirations and ideals. And let us remember that, ultimately, the greatest prophecy of all lies within ourselves, the capacity to dream, to envision, and to create a world of beauty, possibility, and hope. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery. May the wisdom of the ages guide us, the light of knowledge illuminate our path, and the spirit of curiosity inspire us to continue seeking truth, understanding, and meaning in our ever-unfolding journey through time and space.